Hi guys, and it's AuntDi here. It is a very warm, muggy morning. I've just done a video for you guys. It's with the embossing tip for the Cricut Maker, and we emboss on... I just lost my focus. So we use the embossing tip and we are embossing onto acrylic or plexiglass, some call it. It worked out pretty cool. I'm really impressed. Simple, easy, no problems. So I hope you enjoy the video. Fast forward through the parts that you find boring, but please try to make it all the way to the end. It helps, believe me. Also, stay tuned because I'm going to do another embossing tip video using metal. So, like I said, hope you guys enjoy. Happy crafting. Bye for now. I've now moved over into Design Space to work on the project, and I'm just going to type in AuntDi's Crafts. If you're interested, the font I've used is Elizabeth. And because it's a writing font, I'm going to have to move my letters. So that means select all, ungroup, bring everything so I can see it better, and then individually click each letter to move it to the position you want so that they touch is what you're looking for. So I'm just going to get that all done. Once I have one word done, I will then select it, and as with the word ant, I will be welding it. This is so that when it cuts fluidly all in one lines, like no cutoffs between the letters. If, as in this word dies, I was to just attach the word ant, I'd beta pull each letter off individually. Because since the word dies is not touching, I will be just doing attach. Something you need to remember also when it comes to welding, when you weld a word, make sure you have it exactly the way you want it before you save your project. Because once you save your project, you will not be able to go back in and unweld. You would have to start again. Now that I have all my words attached, I'm just going to play around with my wording to try to come up with the positioning that I like. Also very shortly, all of a sudden you're going to see an image pop up because I paused it and went off and found an image in Design Space to use. And there he is. Pop! So I'm going to select all, and I've got to change my line type up here on the left from the cut to the embossing. So as long as you have it clicked onto or selected onto your maker, all the new tips will show up. And as you can see, the embossing makes it so you see both lines. And yes, your embosser is going to follow all these lines. You see, I've already gotten a simple square, which I'm going to use as a template so I can size my image exactly how I want. I love doing this for all my projects. It makes it so much easier. I'm just changing the color so I can see my image better, and I'm going to move my square to the background also so I can see my image better. And now I'm just going to play around with it for a few moments until I get it just the way I want it. As I do my imaging and designing, I always go and check the layout of it when I push make it. I don't necessarily go to make it. This is just to help me get everything just perfect. Happy with how it turned out in Design Space. I am just going to my Make It screen and I'm going to click on the image on the mat so I can just shift it down just a little bit so I can get it to cut where I want it to. Okay, so what are we using? We're using a piece of acrylic, but to make sure it's down nice and tight, first I'm going to obviously remove the plastic protector, and to make sure it's on the mat nice and snug, I'm going to tape it down and help that this will help hold it in place and not interfere with my project. Now you could use your strong grip mat, but I'd still run some tape over it. It's better to be safe than sorry. You don't want to, this stuff's not cheap. This sheet was like $10, $11, I think. Okay, so I've got that all done. We're going to have to remember to change our head. So let's get our multi-changer and our engraving tip. Coolness. Right fresh out of the pack. Maybe. If I can get into it. There we go. Engraving tip. Push the squares, the circle in, line it up, and leave it. Load it in. Now I just gotta pause you and go and get my machine started. Again, here is my project and it's all ready to go. It is on the mat and I've got it exactly where I want it, so I'm going to push continue. Now that I'm just waiting for the wheel of death to find my maker, and once it does, it's going to give me the option to figure out what pattern or what material I'm using, which would be just about any time. There it goes. Another wheel of death. Browse all material. I go into here, I find it in plastic under, sorry, under other, I found it. It tells us what tip to use, and we're off to the races with cutting. Oh, let's press go and see what happens. Oh well, I guess I better load it in. So we'll load this in the machine. Oh, fix that tape part so it doesn't mess up. I'm on a video. Now I'm going to press go when it starts. I'm going to move you in so you can see what's going on a bit better. Hopefully. And we'll see what happens. Okay, let's unload the mat and see what happens. Because we're going to do this again, but with a piece of metal. So let's get the tape all off. And I guess I should have mirrored it. Probably would have been better. Probably a lot better. But hopefully you can see that. I'd recommend mirroring it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Can you see that? There we go. I'm going to take pictures so I'll be able to show it better. So let's do this again, but with a piece of metal. So my metal piece is smaller, so I am going to have to go and readjust my sizes before we get started on it. So you might have to stay tuned. Okay, so now you know what material we're using. We're using a sheet of acrylic, or also known as plexiglass. So let's get everything set up here. We have to let it find our machine. We can listen to my grandson. Spinning wheel of death. And we need to now find the material that we need. So for acrylic, we're going to need to look under other, and we'll find different sizes of acrylic. And I'm not quite sure which one I have, so I'll just pick this one. And done. And it tells us what we need, our embossing tip, and we're now going to head back over and watch this tip do its thing.